Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Eat More Plants with me. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make a vegan cheese sauce that is not only quick and easy to make at home, but it's also not gross. Okay, for me, this recipe takes care of a junk food craving that I may or may not still have, I still do, for a processed cheese product, kind of like a Velveeta type of thing where you can get at the movie theaters, or I remember going to 7-Eleven and like pumping down on that canister and having the ooey gooey cheese on your nachos. I mean, I know it's gross and I know it's probably all made up of oils, but I like it. And this recipe 100% takes care of that craving for me, but in a way where I know I'm not clogging my arteries at the same time. You can also use it for mac and cheese. It's really good for that, or just to pour on top of veggies. Now, originally I used to make this recipe with soaked cashews, like raw cashews, and I still like that version. It's a rich, nice version, but this way to do it is so much quicker and easier. You don't have to plan ahead of time and soak the cashews. It's cheaper because cashews are expensive. I actually got the idea to substitute the cashews for potatoes, and I got that idea from another YouTuber. If you want to check out their channel, it's Homesteading with Sadie. Basic boil to blend recipe, and most of the ingredients are things you probably have here in your kitchen, which is helpful while we're quarantining. So I mentioned the potatoes earlier, but when you're boiling the potatoes, you're gonna also add to that water carrot and some yellow onion. Take those boiled veggies when they're softened up, add it to the blender. You could use olive oil, but I'm trying to make this the healthiest version of the recipe, so I'm just gonna suggest using the water that you boil the veggies in and some lemon juice. And then the secret vegan ingredient is, or not so secret actually, is nutritional yeast. If you don't have this in your cupboard, go ahead and order some online, or I don't know, if you go to the store, pick some up, because I think it's useful. You can use it for a lot of different recipes, and it's a great way to get your vitamin B. There are some spices we're gonna add to the blending stage that I'll show you once we start. So you can see we have this pot of water that's been brought to a steady boil, so it's ready for me to add these vegetables inside. I didn't do much to prepare these vegetables. I basically just scrubbed them a bit. Time saver for the potato. I mean, you could peel it before you put it into the water to boil, but I find that after you boil the water, the potato skin just slips right off, so it's a little bit of a time saver. Adding 1 large baking potato, or like 2 small medium ones, a carrot, and then what we have here is about 1/3 of a yellow onion. So I had those veggies boiling. I pulled out the carrot and the onion ahead of time because they got soft a lot faster. I probably had the potato in for about 20-25 minutes, and you can see here the peel is off. I just wanted to show you how easy it is for the peel to come off. You just go just like that, and the peel is good to go. It saves a lot of time for me. Peeling vegetables is kind of tedious. So I'm gonna take all the veggies and add it into the blender. And to that, we're gonna go ahead and put in about 1/2 cup of the cooking water. You can see I didn't even put the whole carrot. I just took maybe 3/4 of the carrot. This isn't really an exact recipe because it depends how big your potato is, but about 1/2 cup is a good estimate. So I have that in there. And now I'm gonna add the juice of 1/2 lemon. If the seeds fall in there, that's totally fine because we're blending this all up. So I remember making mashed potatoes once for Thanksgiving, so I was making a really big quantity, and I thought it'd be a great time saver to use a hand blender, immersion blender, and it ended up being such a mess up. It was such a fail. It got so sticky and like gooey and gluey, and it was because of all the starch in the potatoes. That actually works to the benefit for this cheese sauce. So we're gonna blend it. Let's get this going. So I actually had the water here, to add to it in case it got too thick and it started stopping up the blender, but it looks like it's the perfect amount. I'll blend it a little bit more because I still see little bits of carrot. I mean, the main purpose of the carrot, I don't think it's really for the flavor, I think it's more for the color, but we're gonna also add a little bit of turmeric to help with the color. So we're gonna go with a teaspoon of salt. A little bit more if you like it saltier. If you know you're gonna put this on pasta, you might want to be a little heavy-handed with the salt, depending on your preference. A couple dashes of turmeric, which is what I'm adding now. So I put like 2 little dashes. a teaspoon of garlic. If it wasn't quarantine, I would have more fresh garlic and I would use that, and I think that would be really nice. But I don't have it, so I'm using powdered garlic, which is a good substitute. I'm putting a teaspoon of the powdered garlic in there. And this is also an optional. If you want to make it a little bit spicy, you can add a little crushed red pepper or some chili powder. I'm going to use some paprika, and also probably like half a teaspoon of paprika. So this is gonna go into here. We're gonna add also the nutritional yeast, and for that also about half a cup. I would taste it in between and just see what the flavor is like and see if you wanna add something more. Maybe, usually I might add a little bit more salt or the nutritional yeast or a little bit of lemon. Those are usually the things I add. So I'm gonna keep this cooking water here on reserve in case this mixture gets a little bit too thick, but let's go ahead and start blending it. I blended it for about 20 seconds. I actually didn't have to add any more of the water. Take a look, you can see it's kind of steamy. Here is our cheese sauce. It looks really good. I would add more carrot if I thought I wanted the color to be more nacho cheesy, but let me taste it and see if we need to add anything else. Oh, it's actually perfect. I don't think I need to add anything else. So I hope you like this recipe. I hope you try it at home and you eat more plants with me.